धीमहि यो यो नमः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नमः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय
बोलो भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो।
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण जय,
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण
जय राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण जय,
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण
जय राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय
बोलो भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे
राम राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय
बोलो भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो।
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण जय,
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण
जय राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण जय,
राम कृष्ण जय राधे
कृष्ण जय राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम।
Krishna jaya bolo.
Bhaj man Ramakrishna jaya bolo. Om Shri Ramakrishna Bhagavan ki jai. Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki jai. Shri Ambe Mata ki jai. Shri Krishna Kanya Lal ki jai.
Govinda Hari Govinda Gopala Hari Gopala Narayana Hari Govinda Bhaktavatsala Govinda Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana paripurna Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana paripurna Karunagara Paradama Karunagara Paradama Saranagadi Pugandome Saranagadi Pugandome Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana paripurna Sagala Puvana Paripana Hari Hari Vanasila Sagala Puvana Paripana Hari Hari Vanasila Deenanadane Kava Varalolane Vava Deenanadane Kava Varalolane Vava Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana paripurna Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana paripurna Devagi Priya Gopala Deena Dayala Namo Namo Devagi Priya Gopala Devagi Priya Gopala Deena Dayala Namo Namo Rukmani Priya Govinda Adirupa Sundara Namo Namo Rukmani Priya Govinda Adirupa Sundara Namo Namo Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana paripurna Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana paripurna Sridharavana Murali Manohara Vanava Deva Namo Namo Sridharavana Murali Manohara Vanava Deva Namo Namo Gokula Dandana Mohana Rubana Govardhanane Namo Namo Gokula Nandana Mohana Rubana Govardhanane Namo Namo Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana paripurna Parama pavana Krishna Paramatmana परमात्मन परिपूर्ण करुणागर परंदामा करुणागर परंदामा शरणागति पुगंदोमे शरणागति पुगंदोमे परम पावन कृष्ण परमात्मन परिपूर्ण परमात्मन परिपूर्ण परमात्मन परिपूर्ण
ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। श्री अम्बे अम्बे मात की जय। श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। दुनिया लगे चमने अंधारो कोवो दुनिया लगे चमने अंधारो कोवो ओवामती कौन बचावे। आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे ओवामती कौन बचावे। आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। माता पिता ने कुटुम कबीलो माता पिता ने कुटुम कबीलो अंत समय कौन बचावे। आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे अंत समय कौन बचावे। आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। कर्मा वचन्ति प्रभु मांगो हो एकलो कर्मा वचन्ति प्रभु मांगो हो एकलो। भक्ति भाव उगारे आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। भक्ति भाव उगारे आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। कर्मा वचन्ति प्रभु मांगो हो एकलो कर्मा वचन्ति प्रभु मांगो हो एकलो। भक्ति भाव उगारे आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। भक्ति भाव उगारे आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। अंतरती भक्ति पुकारो आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। आओ प्रभु सांझ सवारे। ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। श्री अम्बे अम्बे मात की जय। श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय।
जय राधा माधव
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Hare Hare.
Om Shri Ramakrishna Bhagavan ki jai, Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki jai, Shri Ambe Mata ki jai, Shri Krishna Kanya Lal ki jai.
Om Yathagnirdahika Shaktihi Ramakrishne Sita Hiya Sarva Vidya Swairupam Tam Sharadam Pranamamyaham. Revered Mataji, sisters, brothers and loving children, Om Namo Narayanaya. Sri Ramakrishna says, God is a personification of love, compassion and forgiveness. He bestows His grace on all unconditionally. Simply say, O Lord, I have made many mistakes, but I won't repeat them. Through His grace, ignorance disappears in the twinkling of an eye. When light enters a dark room, it instantly fills the room with light. Those who approach God through devotion feel His grace and protection. Once there was a pious couple named Janudev and Satyavati. They had a son named Pundalik. He was intelligent and loved his parents. This pious family worshipped Lord Krishna. When Pundalik grew up, his parents got him married. Strangely, his attitude changed and he began to treat his parents disrespectfully. They had to do all the household chores while the young couple relaxed and even forgot to pray to Lord Krishna. Soon his parents decided to go on a pilgrimage to the holy city of Benares. Pundalik suggested, let us accompany them so that they will be forced to return home. His wife complained, I will not be able to walk the long distance while your parents ride on our horse. He comforted her, saying, since they are used to a hard life, you can ride the horse and they can walk. They were unkind to his parents during the entire trip. Soon they reached Benares and spent a few days in the holy city. It was now time to return home. On the return journey, they halted at the ashram of a great sage who was well known for his piety. The ashram was on the banks of the sacred river Ganga. At midnight, when all were asleep, the sound of anklets woke Pundalik. He noticed that 3 young, beautiful women wearing dirty clothes came to the ashram. They swept and mopped the sage's room, washed his clothes, and then left. Pundalik was surprised to see that the maiden's clothes had become spotlessly white. The next night, the same thing happened. On the third night, he asked them, "Please tell me who you are and how do your clothes become so clean?" One of them answered, "We are the three holy rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. We wash away the sins of those who bathe in our waters. Therefore, our clothes become dirty. When we come here, we serve this God-realized sage wholeheartedly. Those sins are thus removed, and our clothes become white again," said another. "You have wounded the hearts of your parents, who have nurtured you from birth," said the third. Looking at him with contempt, they left. Pundelik was shocked. He felt deeply ashamed of himself and could not sleep. Loving memories of his parents' affection for him as a child filled his mind. His rude behavior haunted him and he was restless. Early in the morning, the sage was going to the river to perform his austerities. He noticed Pundelik and sensed that something was wrong. He asked, "What is the matter, son? Have you not slept?" He told the sage about his meeting with the three maidens. He admitted that he was disrespectful to his parents. "I have caused them much pain. How can I repent for my errors?" The compassionate sage said, "The maidens have spoken the truth. They serve me like my daughters to get rid of the sins they acquire from everyone. You can easily atone for your mistakes by serving your parents lovingly." Pundelik was relieved to know that he can correct his mistakes. The sage said encouragingly, "Parents love their children unconditionally. Even now, they still love you." Pundelik decided to dedicate his life to serving his parents. When they arrived home, his parents were pleasantly surprised by his kindness and were overjoyed to have their son care for them again. Lord Krishna was pleased that his devotee had changed. One day he came disguised as a young man to Pundelik's house. Pundelik was serving his aged parents. Lord Krishna knocked on the door. "Who is it?" inquired Pundelik, continuing to serve his father. "I am Vittal," said Sri Krishna. "May I come in?" The door was open, so he saw that it was indeed Lord Krishna, dressed in beautiful yellow silk. Since he was busy, he could not welcome the Lord. The floor was wet, so Pundelik gave a brick to Sri Krishna, saying, "Please stand on this, my Lord. I will finish my duty to my father and then meet you." Vittal smiled and stood on the brick, waiting for his devotee. Soon Pundelik came to welcome the Lord, who was delighted and said, "Your parents are your first God. Service to them is like a prayer, which I accept. I am pleased and wish to grant you a boon." Pundelik replied, "O Lord, please do not leave. Kindly stay here for the benefit of humanity and bless those who come here." Lord Krishna agreed. Thus, Vittal with his consort Rukmini stay in this holy place known as Pandharpur. Many parents struggle to nurture their children, educate them, and allow them to progress. Through the love and efforts of parents, youth achieve their goals and are successful. Youth must be kind to them and support them as much as possible in their old age. We learn that it is far more important to have virtuous qualities than to offer prayers without being kind. There is an interesting story about Ganakadas, a great devotee of Sri Krishna. He was born in the Karnataka state of India. Whatever he did, he always thought of Lord Krishna and expressed his gratitude to the Lord. Once, while on pilgrimage, he arrived at a small town called Udupi. Here, there is a beautiful temple dedicated to Sri Krishna. Ganakadas was very eager to have the darshan of the Lord. But in those days, everyone was not allowed to enter the temple. Coming to know of his social status, the gateman forbade Ganakadas from entering the temple. Greatly disappointed, he went behind the temple and sat outside the fence just opposite a small window. This window was at the back of the Lord's beautiful image. Kanakadas could not see the Lord because the image was facing the entrance on the other side. He felt so unhappy that he began to shed tears profusely. He pleaded with the Lord to allow him to have his vision. He sang the glories of Sri Krishna throughout the night with tears in his eyes. Just before daybreak, those who were passing by noticed an amazing phenomenon. When they went into the temple, as usual, to offer their worship, they found that the image of Sri Krishna had turned half a circle, 180 degrees, and the Lord was now facing Kanakadas. It was indeed a miracle. The Lord satisfied his devotee, who was in divine ecstasy. Thus we learn that the Lord bestows his infinite grace on his sincere devotees. Even today, at this temple in Udupi, Sri Krishna faces the window and not the entrance to the temple. Sri Ramakrishna says, God hears even the footfall of an ant. He definitely listens to our prayers. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna bestows his grace on Arjuna by revealing his universal form to his dear devotee. Sanjaya too was blessed with a unique vision of the Lord. Although he was not at the battlefield, yet through the infinite grace of Lord Krishna, he heard the wisdom of the Lord and beheld his divine manifestations. Sanjaya says in chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita, O King, as I recall again and again this wonderful and holy dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, I rejoice again and again. And as often as I recall that wonderful form of Hari, great is my astonishment, and I rejoice again and again. It is wonderful to note how by his mere touch, Swami Vivekananda bestowed a vision of Lord Krishna to a devotee. At Jaipur, Swami Vivekananda was friendly with Sardar Hari Singh, the commander-in-chief of the state. For some days, he discussed interesting spiritual and scriptural subjects. One day, they discussed the efficacy of image worship. Hari Singh did not believe in images, and even after hours of discussion with Swamiji, he remained unconvinced. In the evening, they went for a walk. Soon, they saw some devotees carrying an image of Sri Krishna and singing devotional songs. Swamiji and the Sardar watched the procession for a while as they passed by. Suddenly, Swamiji patted Hari Singh on his back and said, Look at that sight of Sri Krishna in all his divine splendor. Amazingly, the Sardar felt a divine presence of Sri Krishna. He stood there, transfixed with tears of ecstasy trickling down his face, and cried out, Jai Radha Krishna. When he returned to normal consciousness, he exclaimed, Well, Swamiji, that was a revelation to me. What I could not understand after hours of discussion, you revealed to me in a flash by your magic touch. Verily, I was blessed to have the vision of Sri Krishna. The Madhava Ashtakam gives a description of the beautiful form of Sri Krishna. Some of the verses say, O Krishna, sweet is your smile. Your face is sweet and charming. Sweet are your movements. Sweet is your form and attire. The melodious sound of your flute is sweet and enchanting. Everything about thee is full of sweetness. Hari Om Tat Sat.
ॐ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ॐ अथ पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः पुरुषोत्तमयोगः श्रीभगवान् उवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलम् अधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलानि अनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा तथा पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यथ प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी निर्मानमोहा जितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसंज्ञैर्गच्छन्त्यमूढा पदम् अव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यत् गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूत सनातनः मनः षष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुः स्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणम् एव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयान् उपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहम् ओजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वा सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत् वेदविदेव चाहम् द्वाविमो पुरुषो लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षरम् उच्यते उत्तमपुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्त्यव्यय ईश्वरः यस्माक्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः यो माम् एवम् असम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमम् स सर्वविद् भजति माम् सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्तं मया नघ एतत् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे पुरुषोत्तमयोगो नाम 15 ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे। अच्युतं केशवं सत्यभामाधवं माधवं श्रीधरं राधिकाराधितम् इन्दिरां चेतसा सुन्दरं देवकी नन्दनं नन्दजं सन्ददे। विष्णवे जिष्णवे शङ्किने चक्रिणे रुक्मिणी रागिणे जानकी जानये वल्लभी वल्लभा याचितायात्मने कंसवे वंशिने वंशिने ते नमः। कृष्ण गोविन्द हे राम नारायण श्रीपते वासुदेवाजिता श्रीनिधे अच्युतानन्द हे माधवा दोक्षजा द्वारका नायका द्रौपदी रक्षका राक्षसा शोभिता सीतया शोभितो दण्डकारण्यभू पुण्यता कारणः लक्ष्मणेनान्वितो वानरे सेवितो अगस्त्य सम्पूजितो राघवा पातु माम्। धेनुकारिष्टका निष्ठके द्वेषिहा केशिहा कंसहे वंशिका बाधका पूतना कोपका सूरजा केलनो बालको बालका पातु मां सर्वदा। विद्युलोद्योतवत् प्रस्फुरद्वाससं प्रावृतं बोधवत् प्रोलसद्विग्रहं वन्यया मालया शोभितो रस्तनं लोहिताङ्घ्रिद्वयं पारिजाक्षं भजे। कुञ्चिते कुण्डले राजमानाननं रत्नमौलिं लसत्कुण्डलं गन्धयो हारकेयूरितं कङ्कणाप्रोज्ज्वलं किङ्किणी मञ्जुलं श्यामलं तं भजे। अच्युतस्याष्टकं यः पठेदिष्टदं प्रेमतः प्रत्यहं पुरुषः सस्पृहं वृत्तता सुन्दरं कर्णिवेश्वम्भरस्तस्य वश्यो हरि जायते सत्वरं तस्य वश्यो हरि जायते सत्वरं तस्य वश्यो श्री रामकृष्ण भगवान की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। श्री अम्बे मात की जय। श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। गले में बैजंती माला माला बजावे मुरली मधुर बाला बाला। श्रवण में कुंदर झलकाला झलकाला। शब्द के नंद श्री आनंद कंद मोहन ब्रिज चंद राधिका रमण बिहारी की। श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। गगन सम अंग कांति काली काली। राधिका चमक रही आली आली। लखन में काहे बनमाली बनमाली। भ्रमर सी अलग कस्तूरी तिलक चंद्र सी झलक ललित छवि श्याम प्यारी की। श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। नहाते प्रगट भई गंगा गंगा। कलुष कली हारिणी श्री गंगा गंगा। स्मरण ते होत मोहभंगा मोहभंगा। बसी शिव शीश जटा के बीच हरे अगति। चरण छवि श्री बनवारी की। श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। कर्पूर गौरम करुणावतारम संसार सारम भुजगेन्द्रहारम
मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मङ्गलाय तनो हरि सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते.
Om Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters and brothers. Prayer fills our hearts with infinite peace and contentment. Sri Krishna Bhagavan says in chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita, "He who works for me, who has me for the supreme goal, who is devoted to me and is free from attachment, who bears no hatred towards any creature, he comes to me, O Arjuna." So, in addition to chanting the Lord's sweet name, we must try to cultivate divine qualities like love, patience, forgiveness, and understanding. The more selfless we are, the closer we come to God. May our devotion to God and knowledge about Him increase 1,000-fold during these auspicious days, so that we can improve and transform into better people. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरि ओम तत्सत्. जय श्री गुरु महाराज की जय. महामाई की जय. स्वामी जी महाराज की जय. गंगा मात की जय. महावीर स्वामी जी की जय. सर्व ऋषि मुनियों की जय. पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव की जय. श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय.